Hold on to your hats. If you've never seen a presidential primary winner take out his frustrations on a piñata, well, today is your lucky day. Who the hell is that, you might ask? What's written on the piñata? And what's with the whole Star Wars kid vibe? Ladies and gentlemen, that's no ordinary piñata. It represents Argentina's central bank. And that's no ordinary man. It's Javier Milei, a pro-Bitcoin libertarian politician who could become Argentina's next president. And like his hair, Javier's political views are a little bit out there. He wants to destroy the central banking system, scrap a bunch of government ministries, and dollarize the economy. So who really is this Javier Milei? What could his election mean for Argentina? Why did his recent electoral victory cause Bitcoin prices in the country to pump? And what is it really like to live in a country where your money's value is as volatile as a cat in a bathtub? These are just some of the questions we're going to grapple with in this video. Let's get into it, shall we? First, for some context, a quick history lesson. Argentina in the late 1800s and early 1900s had a booming economy and ranked among the top 10 richest economies globally. It even gave the US a run for its money. As the Financial Times describes it, I quote, "The millions of immigrant Italians and Irish escaping poverty at the end of the 19th century face a dilemma: Buenos Aires or New York, the Pampas or the Prairie." I mean, the place even gets its name from the Italian word for silver. Snap back to the present, Argentina's star has lost its shine. The country is outside the top 20 richest in the world. For economic migrants, the Pampas no longer appeals. Decades of shoddy governance, mind-boggling corruption, and a cycle of hyperinflation that has left its economy in dire straits. Think about this. In the last 40 years, 13 zeros have been sliced off its currency, the peso. Ouch. With hyperinflation skyrocketing at a mind-numbing 113%, Argentina is looking at its worst economic downturn in 3 decades. Globally, its hyperinflation levels are the third highest worldwide, behind Venezuela and Zimbabwe, 2 countries we've covered alongside Lebanon in our recent video on hyperinflation. I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to check it out. Back to Argentina. How does life under hyperinflation play out day to day? Well, it's pretty brutal. Prices jump almost every week. To cope, salaried Argentinians spend their pesos swiftly, converting any excess into US dollars. The less fortunate increasingly depend on food banks and soup kitchens, which are facing soaring demand. The past 4 years have also seen a surge in underground currency exchange houses, offering the so-called dollar blue or black market rate. These rates are currently around 700 pesos to the dollar, double the 350 pesos you can get at official rates. Because of a technical workaround, Western Union offers rates similar to dollar blue. Not financial advice, of course, but something to keep in mind if you're traveling to Argentina anytime soon. Now, you might be wondering where crypto fits into this picture. Countries plagued by hyperinflation, coupled with a public deeply distrustful of banks, as is the case in Argentina, present an ideal scenario for crypto adoption. According to data from blockchain analytics firm Chainalysis, Argentina is one of the fastest growing crypto markets, taking 13th spot in the company's 2022 Global Crypto Adoption Index. Most Argentinian crypto holders gravitate to the relative safety of stablecoins like USDT, USDC, and USDD, which holds pegs to the US dollar, as well as large cap coins like Bitcoin and ETH. For many used to keeping dollars under their mattress, crypto assets, particularly stablecoins, are an ideal store of value. Yet, anecdotal evidence actually suggests that crypto adoption in Argentina is largely limited to a younger, middle-class, and tech-savvy demographic. A recent piece by The Block, for instance, shows that many people, particularly those who are financially illiterate, still regard crypto with trepidation. With crypto scams aplenty, the greenback still reigns supreme as a source of financial security. From this economic quagmire and deep frustration with the government has emerged Javier Milei, a deeply controversial figure who, as mentioned in the introduction, could become Argentina's next president. So, who is he? Well, before entering politics in 2021 as a congressman, his resume was diverse. As well as being a former rock band frontman, he also worked as an economist and TV personality. He also claims to have been a tantric sex coach, which I must say is a line that I never thought I'd have to say in one of these videos. In recent years, Javier has become a media sensation. His TV rants against the political establishment are not just fiery, they're tailor-made for going viral on social media.
Conjunto de delincuentes hijos de p***, son unos soretes. Es decir, para eso no les molesta.
Unsurprisingly, his appeal is strongest with the young, social media savvy voters. Yet his message extends much further, indeed to just about anyone who is sick of the political order and is desperate for something or someone to shake things up. A whopping 30.5% of the electorate voted for him in the presidential primaries earlier this month. This was a shock, putting him several percentage points ahead of both the primary conservative opposition and the incumbent Peronicist coalition. The primaries are officially held to pick candidates for various political blocs, but they're also considered a national poll ahead of the October election. That's why Javier has a very real chance of becoming president. Javier's rise feels eerily familiar. His populist approach mirrors that of other political leaders, like Donald Trump and Brazil's Jair Bolsonaro, two men he openly admires. In fact, some of Milei's backers can often be seen sporting MAGA hats with a local twist: Make Argentina Great Again. Nice. Residents of Australia, Angola, and Albania, take note. Like Trump and Bolsonaro, some of Javier's policy stances are truly eyebrow-raising. Javier advocates for the free trade of human organs, dismisses climate change as a, quote, social fabrication, said sex education is a ploy to destroy the family, and wants more Argentinians to own handguns. His persona echoes that of many political populists, and his hair, which looks like it was comb with a balloon, might remind you of a certain British politician. But don't let that fool you. Like Boris Johnson, Javier is no fool, even if he occasionally acts like one. He is deeply rooted in his ideologies, taking cues from heavyweight economists like Murray Rothbard, Milton Friedman, and Robert Lucas, which, by the way, are the names of his pet dogs. Now that's commitment. Politically, Javier is a right-wing libertarian and identifies as an anarcho-capitalist. Translation: he wants a society devoid of government. He wants absolute individual freedom, and he does not want the state sticking its nose into economic matters. He wants to dismantle government programs, including public healthcare, and wants to destroy the central bank. His views are pretty extreme, but his supporters would argue Argentina's dire economic circumstances require extreme measures. Now, one of Javier's most eye-catching proposals is to dollarize Argentina's economy. To justify this move, he often points to Ecuador. Ecuador used to have inflation rates that were comparable to Argentina's, as well as high levels of poverty. After dollarizing in 2000, Ecuador's inflation rate had dropped to become one of the lowest in the region. But dollarizing has its risks. It means that Argentina would lose a lot of its ability to determine terms of trade and to dictate monetary policy. It also means that the country would be more vulnerable to external shocks, like oil price fluctuations and wars, since it would lose its capacity to use the exchange rate as a buffer. There are several other risks outlined in more detail in a Financial Times article, which I'm going to link below. It's definitely worth a read. Anyway, what dollarization in Argentina would look like That remains a little unclear at the moment, but a piece by Bloomberg provides some clues. According to the article, Argentina would keep the peso, but people would be able to use both dollars and pesos seamlessly. It is, in fact, a model already used by President Nayib Bukele in El Salvador. Now I know what you're thinking. If Javier is elected, could he follow Nayib's move by making BTC legal tender? I mean, anything is possible. The Argentinian is a fan of BTC and having praised its decentralization and also its autonomy. However, he hasn't mentioned any plans to make BTC legal tender, and there is no sign that this is part of his economic vision. Nonetheless, the price of BTC did jump to a new high in Argentina following his victory in the presidential primaries. On the 14th of August, one BTC went from around 8.5 million pesos to over 10 million pesos, according to data from CoinGecko. Clearly, the market sentiment suggests his election would be good news for BTC. However, his crypto credentials have been called into question. Critics label his approach as a populist ploy to appeal to younger, more crypto inclined voters. He also infamously endorsed CoinX, a company that has been accused of being a Ponzi scheme and which allegedly misappropriated around $300,000. Javier was paid for his endorsements, and several investors are now suing him for promoting the company. Of course, in true politician style, he is deflecting the blame. But I also suspect he cares little about the CoinX incident. It hasn't impacted his performance in the polls, and with the presidential elections around the corner on the 22nd of October, he has bigger fish to fry and more piñatas to destroy. Well, that's about it from me, but do you live in Argentina? How are you dealing with the hyperinflation on a daily basis? And what do you think of Javier Milei? What could his possible victory in October mean for Argentina? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Before I go, thank you for watching. If you like this video, I urge you to click the bell and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. And don't forget our deals page where you can get the biggest discounts on the best crypto wallets and up to $40,000 of bonus airdrops on offer at the best crypto exchanges. The link is in the description. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.